Good morning, everyone. Good evening or good afternoon. And welcome to the Juliet Talk Show. I hope you are all good, and I would like to thank you for subscribing and for watching my videos. And for those of you who have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and share with others. Today is a beautiful day, and I'm so happy to have my first visitor on this show, Mr. Ngurumo from Tanzania. He is a philosopher, award-winning journalist, human rights defender, and a political analyst. Thank you for coming, and please introduce yourself more for our viewers.
Thank you, Juliet. As you have introduced me already, I happen to have done a lot of things in my life.
Yes.
And those are the things that define me. At home, I'm a father to my kids, a husband to my wife. At work, some people see me as a senior editor. Others see me as a political analyst because of the analysis that I do.
Yes.
But I'm also a human rights defender, and I'm an author, I'm a music composer, I'm a choir trainer. So I have different faces to different people. And in Sweden, I'm a refugee from Tanzania, and I've been a fundraiser for some time.
Yes.
So I happen to have so many faces that describe me.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think today we'll be focusing on moving from Africa to Sweden.
Okay.
And I'd like to know how. I know you are a refugee here, but how did it happen that you came to Sweden as a refugee?
It's a long story, but we can find a way of cutting it short.
Yes.
Basically, I came here because of two things that you just mentioned. Because of my role as a human rights defender,
Yes.
and as a journalist. The journalism aspect came up first because it happened that between 2015 and 2021 we had a regime that was so strict, and a different regime than we have ever had in Tanzania.
Okay.
The regime that tolerates no criticism. The regime that has no space for civil, the civic space was getting narrower and narrower because the regime wanted every voice to be, in praise of what they're doing.
Okay.
Cracking down free speech, movement, association, and everything of the sort.
Okay.
So myself being a human rights activist, you may already see that I was already getting into somewhere that they don't want me to be there. And now being even a journalist was worse, because for years, let's say for about 20 years, I've been doing the same job. And interestingly, I had a special column that was targeting the president and the presidency.
Oh.
That was my beat for almost 20 years. So it was me keeping the presidents on the toes for whatever they are doing, for whatever they are missing, whatever omission they do, whatever mistake they do. Because I decided to dwell on this one, because no one does that. So to me it was something very peculiar, and it gave me a lot of audience, readers who follow what I'm writing every week on that one. But at the same time, I was managing editor for one national newspaper that blows up the voice of the opposition. So sometimes I'm looked at as an opposition person, and then as a critical editor somewhere, and then a human rights defender. I'm trying to raise the voices of the people that this regime is always out to subdue. So under those circumstances, Some of my colleagues disappeared.
Okay.
They were killed. Some of them were
Yeah.
abducted. We have never seen them.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, one member of parliament was shot. He was one of those critical members of parliament who was, telling off the president about so many things that were going wrong.
Yeah.
And he had even been branded as a traitor by the president's supporters,
Okay.
including the president himself. So one morning, the president was receiving reports that from committees he had formed on mining issues,
Okay.
and this particular MP was critical of the same committees and the way the government has always handled minerals and mining issues.
Yes.
And that morning, at about 11, as the parliament was going on in Dodoma, the president is in Dar es Salaam addressing this committee, but by so doing, it was a live broadcast, so it was he was addressing the nation,
Yes.
and he was talking about this traitor, and we knew who the traitor was.
Okay.
This traitor, and it sounded, the way he finished his speech was, we cannot let these people leave
Oh dear.
because they're traitors. And look, 2 hours later,
Yes.
this member of parliament was shot as he was going home to have lunch. So he was like almost dead. So it was news all over, everyone is panicking, everybody was panicking. We didn't know what was happening. So ourselves being journalists, we kept following the story
Yes.
because where he lives is a protected area. They have cameras there. They have guards on the door,
Yeah.
on the gates to where he lives. But at that particular moment, there were no guards. And in like 2 or 3 days, the cameras were removed. And as I speak to you now, no one knows what was in the cameras.
Oh dear.
So many questions were coming
came
up.
up,
And as media, we were investigating. Imagine we're investigating such a story,
Yes.
and we have a clue like who could shoot such a person in such a circumstance. And even as I speak to you now, 4
Yes.
years later,
Yes.
no one has ever been held responsible for the shooting. So it was speculations and investigations, and one day, our paper ran stories about. This guy was rushed to Nairobi hospital
Yes.
for his security, and of course, I think God was healing. He survived.
He's still alive.
But he was still
right
in
now?
coma by that time. Now he's alive. He's alive, but he's like, there's so much that has happened. He has undergone more than 25 surgeries,
Oh dear.
serious surgeries on his body. He's full of metal all over because his legs were broken, his hands were broken. The good thing that his stomach was like, the good thing that happened to him was the bullets didn't go this part of his body or his head.
Yeah.
So he recovered after months of being in coma. Weeks of being in coma and then being under treatment from September 2017 to January 2018. He was still in Nairobi, and then they rushed him to Brussels for a more serious treatment. He's still in Brussels as I speak to you.
Right.
But during that time, the first few weeks of our investigation,
Yes.
we came up with some stories. And in my weekly article that addresses the presidents, I did an analysis on the president's speech
Okay.
2 hours before the shooting. And I was trying to link that statement with what happened in Dodoma and what was happening between police and everyone who was trying to investigate or ask them about what is happening.
Yes.
First of all, this guy is from a party that has the majority in parliament, it's the main opposition party. He is the chief whip of the opposition. So he's a big man. How do you shoot such a person?
It's not easy.
Ends like that.
Yeah.
Now, his party members were organizing events to pray for him, for his quick recovery. What happened was, police didn't allow people to pray for him. Wherever they gathered, they were just beaten up. They'll never be allowed to gather to pray for him. These same people were printing T-shirts and branding them, "Get well soon, Mr. Lisu." They were not allowed. No one was allowed to wear that T-shirt. Wherever you wear that T-shirt, they arrest you. You're in for it. They can put any charges on you. So many guys went into trouble because of trying to do that. So my article was trying to analyze all these issues.
Yes.
And I asked, why should police stop people from praying for their fellow? Why should you stop people from wishing someone quick recovery? And at the same time, I linked the president's speech to the event, and then I remembered it was the same president. I'm talking about Magufuli. It was the same president who normally, because he has populist statements, he wants people to sympathize with what he's doing, he wants people to look at him like a patriot. So he was always telling people, pray for me. I have this very big burden of getting my country out of poverty and everything. You know, so pray for me, pray for me. So I was asking in that article, who should people pray for at this moment? If the president has always been asking people to pray for him, and if he's a healthy person, why should the same government stop people from praying for this
someone who is
ailing member of parliament? Now, who should they pray for? And that was the headline of my article, that who should they pray for? Mr. Lisu or President Magufuli? Is
it the one which put you in trouble?
That is where my trouble started from. So after that, the paper was out and it was banned the very day. And when the journalists followed up from other newspapers, and the government spokesperson, who happened to be the registrar of newspapers, said they are banning the newspaper because of the article that I wrote. And so it is insulting the president. So my trouble started from there, and the rest is history. So later, like 1 month, another paper was banned for writing a story about this presidency is too much of a burden on this guy. Or no, they banned it for 3 months. Ours was banned for 2 years, against the law, in fact. And now, when this one was banned, one national TV, Star TV, called me, interviewed me about this trend of the government banning newspapers. So I was analyzing the laws. We have a media services law that doesn't give them even the authority to ban newspapers. I don't know where they get those powers, but they do that because they're in power. So for 2 years, for 2 hours, I was live on the show, addressing these matters, criticizing the government. I didn't know I was adding salt to an injury of the previous thing. So from that moment, I didn't know. I was later told the president was watching as I was still criticizing him. He has closed my paper. Now I'm on a national TV still criticizing him, and then he declared this man must go. So Good Samaritans betrayed him. Before I was to go, the next day, I got the news. And then what followed was, any possible way to save my life. I kept hiding in the same country for a month. And then it was even worse because they detected some movements of my people, and then I was told they know where I am. So I had to cross the border to Kenya, where I stayed for 4 months. And after 4 months, I got news they know I'm now in Kenya. So media organizations came in and they arranged for my departure from the continent. And I think it was just by God's providence, because we have lost so many people. So that I'm alive, I cannot accredit myself for being just thanks to people who came to save my life. So that's how I got in Sweden, and then I started a life that is different from the one I'm used to. Now I'm a refugee here.
When you got here to Sweden, how did you integrate into the system? Was it easy for you, or was it kind of difficult? I can imagine it must be difficult, because of the language barrier. Because here in Sweden we speak English. There are many people who speak English, but the main language is Swedish. So you have to learn Swedish in order to get anywhere. How is your Swedish?
It's not as good as expected.
but still you can speak Swedish.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And some people are surprised why I can speak so little Swedish after having been here for 4 years. It's because of my way of integration was different. When I was still in, it took some time before they investigated my story.
Yeah.
You know how immigration works. They're not very fast, not as fast as people think they are. And before they got into my story, I was already looking for something to do.
Okay.
And before I even started Swedish classes, I got a job.
Oh,
And
that's wonderful.
the job was an English-speaking job. So morning to evening I'm working, so I have no time for school. So I've been trying to teach myself Swedish, as like an extra thing after work. So now I know a little bit about Swedish, but not really much because I didn't delve into the strict learning of the language. And I think that has been my way of integrating through the job.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because I think nowadays it's more easy here in Sweden when you speak English, really. Because a lot of people, it's the second language here in Sweden, a lot of people speak English. But before, for many years, it was kind of difficult. You had to learn Swedish in any way to get anywhere.
Okay.
But today, I think it's a little bit, it's very easy.
Yes, but I
It's
still
very
think
easy.
it is difficult for
English.
people who don't speak Swedish here.
Yeah.
Because even for
It is.
jobs that are advertised, I've seen so many jobs that I'm fit to apply for. I have all the credentials, qualifications. I could apply for them if I wish to. I have everything that I should be
Yes.
presenting them, but the last one there at the bottom is
Perfect Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
So if you don't know this language, however qualified you are, you'll never get this job.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it's very important really to learn the language.
Sure.
Because you get into the system, you manage to integrate
Yeah,
in
sure.
the system and getting friends. And so, how about the friends? Have you any Swedish friends here?
Yeah, I have made a lot of friends from the very early days of my arrival here. Because of my situation, I had some human rights activists who were sympathizing with my situation. So I started with them. Some of them lead big organizations here, and some of them connected me to other friends in journalism. So I even was registered with the Swedish Journalists Union, so I'm accredited there. I can do my journalistic things legally here.
That's really good.
And then even the way I found somewhere to live in Stockholm was because of a Swedish family friend of mine in the north, in Piteå.
Yeah.
I just knew them through this political activism.
Yes.
It was a campaigning season like now, and I was just going out in the town and seeing, okay, and then I saw the booths, and I was attracted to one of them, and 4 women were there and one guy. And then we started talking about whatever was happening, and this one was interested in me. Oh, where are you from? So we spoke about where I'm from, why I'm here, and she looked like very sympathetic. And finally, she has become a permanent friend for me. So when I was to come to Stockholm for a job,
Yes.
she's the one who made it easy for me to find where to live through her daughters.
Yeah.
And I found where to rent. That's how I started my life here. So she has been a permanent friend. And then she connected me to one pastor who used to work in Tanzania.
Yes.
He lived there like 20 years and then he retired. So he also hosted me to his family. So I know his family members, and we had one Christmas together. So that was a very, very, it was a lovely way of getting new friends. Unfortunately, 1 year ago, I'm told he passed away.
Oh, sorry.
He died of cancer. Yeah, but I've kept the family as friends. This family that I joined in Stockholm, they have been my family ever since. I've made so many other friends in the Swedish church, and they've been very instrumental in so many other things that I do beyond my usual job. So I have friends from that circle, but also I've made friends from the job that I do. A lot of friends, because they come and go. But the main office has more than 50 people that are, besides becoming my co-workers, you develop some friendship depending on particular interests. So in the vicinity where I live, most of the time we don't meet because I'm too busy morning, going to work, then coming late in the evening. I don't have so many friends where I live. I have more friends where I work.
Yeah, because this about friends, many people, like foreigners, they find it difficult here in Sweden to make friends and to integrate into the Swedish society. But for me, I think that it depends on you, really. If you want to make friends, you can really make friends, and if you want to integrate in the system, you can. You have to give in.
Yeah.
You say life is about giving and taking. So you have to give and to be open to others and talk to them as you explain that you talk to people, and then you start conversing, and that's the start.
For me, I've been having one challenge when it comes. I'm a friends person. I easily make friends. That's my character. But given my condition, my situation as a refugee, and because when I left my country, I never stopped criticizing the same government. I even established my blog for that, which is now it's a big blog now. I even formed another organization because of that. But because of that eloquence that I kept doing from here, and because of the populism and propaganda, when they knew eventually that I left, they are trying to brand me negatively so that at least I look like I'm a hooligan or something like that. So they kept attacking me from that base. On the media, they were trying to circulate stupid information about me, concoct news information about me, fake things about me. They wanted to brand me negatively. And I had a feeling they were also attempting to send people, just wherever I would be, just to make sure I don't exist, because they thought I was becoming a thorn in the flesh of the president. So that limited my scope of making friends, because I have to really trust you before making you my friend, and I kept doubting everybody who was coming close to me. So even now, yes, I have many friends, but not as many as I usually make, because I suspect everybody around me, and that's a negative part about it. But otherwise, I feel like I'm luckier than many other people who never had time.
But you feel safe here?
I feel safe here.
That's cool.
Of course, cautiously safe. It's a human feeling that, yes, I'm far away from home. I'm in a safer place, but I still have to be cautious about how I interact with the people who I hang up with. But that's it, about friendship.
It must be very difficult, when you're walking the streets, you feel, you are scared about this, you are scared about that. Or it must be very, very careful, very difficult. Sorry.
Sure.
And it's not easy.
Not at all.
Because to suspect this or to suspect that one, that maybe this one person is going to harm me, it's not an easy thing to live with.
Sure.
Really. You have to be strong, and we pray for you that everything goes fine. But how the family, how is your family down there? Did you miss them very much? Of course you have to.
That's obvious. That's obvious. I missed them a lot, and the good thing is technology helps everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't see them. And I happen to have a mother who is sick, and I'm the person who takes care of her. So now I'm away. She's worried about me.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I take my time to speak to her because you can see each other at least,
Yes.
and show her that I'm not like in bad shape, that I'm safe, I'm healthy. In fact, I'm worrying for her.
Yeah.
She was worrying for me, but now I'm worrying for her. But I gave her a reason to smile.
Yeah.
And sometimes I travel. Of course, I don't go there, but at least I travel where some people can reach me, and I send good news to them, gifts to them, and then it gives them some feeling of
hope.
Hope. At least. We have gone through a lot, but even now, as I speak to her, you see she's smiling, she's happy, she's healthy. Because you know what? You're from Africa, you know better. I grew up in the hands of my grandmother, my mother's mother. And this is the first human being who showed me the world, life, values. So much of what I am, in fact, I attribute them to my grandmother. She took me to school when she herself never went to school. I could see how much she was suffering for me, so that I get school fees, I get uniform, I get whatever you want. I always got it because I was doing well in class. So she supported me. So when I was like, now I have a job, I have my family, you know. So she was growing older now. So she became like my daughter now. So I was taking care of her. And she was even stronger than my mom. Looking at her, you look at my mom, you look at her mother, they look like sisters, you know. So she's the person that had the strongest impact, influence in my life. Even when whoever, be it my mother or whoever, they want to speak to me about something very sensitive, and they think maybe I may have some issues or make an argument about it, they use my grandmother. They know if she tells me, that's the end of it.
That's
nice. So that's how strong she was. I will never say no to my grandmother, never, ever.
I know the feeling because myself, before I came to Sweden, I used to live with my grandmother. And I loved her very much. I loved them, my grandmother and my grandfather. I know the feeling. I know what you mean.
Look, because I used to live in Dar es Salaam. I had an office in Mwanza. In the Easter of 2017, I rushed home just to see them. I felt like, let me go and see them. And I saw them. Just in 2 days I left because I have some other things to do. And that was the last time I saw them before I got in trouble. And when I got in trouble, I didn't leak the information until I was out. One of my friends, when I was in fact leaving, I told one of my friends what was happening. Because all that time, 4 months, my family never knew where I was. Because I was in hiding. So when I was out to Europe, I sent out a message to one of my friends. But I didn't mean that he should go and tell them. Out of excitement or whatever, he went home, told my mother, Ansbert has gone to Europe, but he has been in trouble. They want to kill him. I don't think you'll ever see him again. From that message, she got stroke. And in 1 week of my presence here, she passed away. So she has been, well, it was so sad. So when I think of my mother now, connecting that feeling to what happened to my grandmother because of me being away in danger, I don't want anything to happen to my mom for the same reason. So I've always been trying to be available to my entire family, and I happen to be the head of the family. So all the kids and brothers and sisters, they look up to me for guidance. They still want to hear from me. So I want to show them I'm in good shape, I'm healthy, and I support them even from here. From the little money I make here, I still share with them. So I still take care of her as if I was in Tanzania.
It's good. That's really good. And for that, I think for now we don't have much, but I promise you we'll be having Mr. Ngurumo again sometime. And for those of you out there, he has a website, and he has his own channels. I think we'll be putting up the information so that you can go to his channel and you can watch his videos too, and you can listen to him more, because he has a lot to say and he has a lot to teach you. Please subscribe to his channel and listen to him. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
And see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye for now.